Joseph didn't have very good news about the dream.
In 3 days, you will die.
Joseph told the truth. The man did die. One night, the king of Egypt dreamed that 7 skinny cows came from the river and ate up 7 fat cows. No one could figure out what the dream meant.
Your Highness, call for Joseph,
said the first man who had told Joseph his dream in prison. And God showed Joseph what the king's dream meant.
There will be 7 years with lots of food. Followed by 7 years with almost no food.
The king knew that Joseph was right.
Joseph had been in jail, but he was innocent. So the king of Egypt let him out. The king also put Joseph in charge of gathering enough food to feed everyone during the hungry time. The king took off his royal ring and put it on Joseph's finger. He gave Joseph one had to bow down to him. For the next 7 years, Joseph stored lots of food. Then a time came when no rain fell and no crops could be grown. This is called a famine. It was bad for other lands, but thanks to Joseph, the people of Egypt had food. Joseph's family back home were very hungry. His father, Jacob, told his sons,
go to Egypt and buy grain.
So 10 brothers packed up and went to Egypt. The youngest brother, Benjamin, stayed home. When the brothers came to the palace, Joseph knew right away who they were, but they didn't recognize their own brother, who they had sold as a slave many years ago.
You're all spies,
Joseph said to test them. They were shocked.
No, we've come to buy food.
They told Joseph all about their family.
We haven't come here because we're spies.
Joseph still loved his brothers, so he gave them the food. The famine was long and had spread to every country. Soon, Jacob and his 10 sons needed more food. So the sons went back to Egypt, this time bringing young Benjamin with them. Joseph told his servants to prepare a feast for the men, who he secretly knew were his own brothers. When Joseph came to the feast, all the brothers bowed down to him. Oh my! It reminded Joseph of his childhood dream about his brothers' bundles of wheat bowing down to his. And then Joseph saw Benjamin. This made him so happy he began to cry. But he didn't let anyone see his tears. Joseph gave the brothers the grain they wanted. But he also tricked them. He put his royal cup in Benjamin's sack. The rule was that whoever took something from the ruler had to be his servant forever. When the cup was discovered, Benjamin couldn't go home. The brothers begged Joseph not to keep Benjamin.
It will break our father's heart to lose 2 sons.
Hearing this almost broke Joseph's heart. He saw that his brothers had really changed. Joseph couldn't keep his secret another minute. He sent all the Egyptians out of the room. But after they left, all he could do was cry. Jacob's sons were very frightened. They didn't know why this man was crying. Finally, Joseph was able to speak.
I am your brother Joseph. You sold me to be a slave, but God sent me here to Egypt to save your lives.
His brothers didn't know what to say.
Is my father Jacob still alive? Hurry, go home and get our father and your families and bring them all here.
After they had all cried and hugged each other, the brothers did as Joseph commanded. And that's how God's people, the Israelites, came to live in Egypt.
Many years after God's people moved to Egypt, there came a new king who had never known Joseph. The Egyptians called their kings Pharaoh. The Pharaoh was mean and made the Israelites his slaves. The Egyptians were mean too. They made the Israelites work harder and harder. One day, Pharaoh had a thought.
There are too many Israelites, and they are too strong.
So he thought up an awful thing to do. He told his servants,
Every time an Israelite baby boy is born, you must throw him into the river.
That was terrible. One day, an Israelite woman had a beautiful baby boy. She decided to hide her baby. It was a good choice. After a while, the baby's mother couldn't hide him anymore. So she got a basket and fixed it so the water could not get inside. Then she put the baby into the basket and put the basket into the river. The baby's big sister, Miriam, stayed close by to see what would happen. God was watching over the baby. The Egyptian princess came to the river to take a bath and saw the basket.
Bring me that basket.
Just as her servants brought her the basket, the baby cried out.
Oh, look! It's a little Hebrew baby.
The princess decided to keep him as her son. She named him Moses. Miriam was still watching. Even though she was frightened, she stepped out of her hiding place and asked,
Would you like me to find a Hebrew nurse to take care of the baby?
Yes. Yes, please do. Thank you.
Miriam ran home and got her mother, Moses' own mother. The princess even paid her to take care of him. This is how God saved baby Moses and gave him back to his mother for a long time. When he was a little baby, Moses the Israelite was adopted by Pharaoh's daughter. He grew up in the great palace of Egypt. When he was all grown up, Moses did something very bad. He killed an Egyptian man.
Hey, look!
So Moses ran away to live in the desert. He married a lady named Zipporah. One day, when Moses was out with the sheep, he saw a bush in the desert. It was on fire, but it didn't burn up. Moses went to look at this strange sight. God spoke from the fire.
Moses, don't come any closer. Take off your sandals. You are on holy ground.
Moses was scared. He covered his face.
I want you to bring my people out of Egypt. I can't do that.
But God promised to help Moses lead the people. So Moses returned to Egypt to talk to the Israelites about being free.
God is going to set all of you free from Pharaoh.
God also sent Moses' brother Aaron along to help him. The Israelites fell right down on their knees and thanked God for remembering them. Then it was time for Moses to go see Pharaoh.
Moses appeared before Pharaoh.
God says, "Let my people go."
Pharaoh was not pleased.
I do not know your God. Why should I obey him? These people have work to do. They cannot leave.
Then Pharaoh made the people work even harder. What a mean man! This made the Israelite leaders angry with Moses. They thought Moses had surely made a big mistake.
You made the king hate us! You made the king hate us!
Go on, go now!
Yeah!
Get back there!
Moses prayed,
Lord, why have you brought this trouble on the people? Is this why you sent me here?
God answered,
You will see what I will do to the king.
Moses, let's go.
God sent Moses and Aaron back to Pharaoh.
Well, look who's come back.
Let God's people go.